let's not make the people wait. Let's get into the big boy. Let's go to the Texas State Fair. Let's go to the Cotton Bowl. Let's talk Oklahoma at Texas. It's not technically at Texas. Obviously, it's in the state of Texas, but it's kind of right in the middle, and it'll be a 50-50 crowd as both of these teams come in undefeated. Um, Look, I mean, this is all you can really ask for out of this rivalry. Last year, Texas really put it on Oklahoma. How are you feeling about the game this year as these two undefeateds clash and by the state fair there?
Well, I feel pretty good about it as a innocent bystander. I think it's going to be a really good game. Um, just looking at it as you break it down, Oklahoma. We mentioned this yesterday that they're top five in scored offense and defense. They're the only team in the country that's top five in both categories. That's really nice to see, except the fact that when you factor in the fact that they haven't played anyone, I think that that kind of tells you where these numbers are coming from a little bit. So I, I'm taking Oklahoma's numbers with a grain of salt to some degree. Now you can also see that their rushing offense has been pretty bad. That's not what they want to do on offense. Clearly,
Yeah,
at least that's not how they're built this year. So they're having to pass the ball and going up against Texas's defense. I mean, they've been a kind of upper pack, sort of upper third defense, I would say. And then once they get into the red zone, it's pretty much lights out. You can see that their opponent red zone conversion for Texas is second in the country at 50%. So they're definitely that bend but don't break sort of team, on defense. And just so you know, Mark, I know we didn't go over these stats beforehand, and for the listeners, in the past I had done sacks, and I've replaced that with tackles for a loss. I think that's a little bit more telling of havoc plays on defense, for
yeah,
really on both sides of the ball. And then also I took out penalties, and I've replaced that with red zone conversion, just to kind of see
yeah.
how efficient these teams are. I think that
I
those
like
those are
that.
two better statistics, right? So just for the listener, we threw you a little curveball here for week 6, but just so you know, I think that these stats will be a little bit more telling. So all right, so going into it, getting back into it here. So I do think that Oklahoma may struggle a little bit in the red zone. Texas has kind of bowed up, and they've been able to stop teams once they get down into the red zone. And look, that's for scoring touchdowns and kicking field goals. So
Yeah,
whatever they're doing is working there in Texas, and it's keeping that scoring defense down to 12.8 points per game. So it's going to be. It's really, to me, it's going to come down to who's going to pass the ball more efficiently. Texas, I think that Baxter, and I don't want to speak too soon. I think Baxter is really stepping up and stepping up as a true freshman, the running back, CJ Baxter for Texas. So, maybe he's able to get going and they can kind of dominate the running game. But whichever, if a team is able to dominate in the running game, that's going to be the team that wins it. I don't think that Oklahoma is really built for that. So, I give the rushing advantage obviously to Texas there. If they're able to control the line of scrimmage and control the game that way, it's going to be a long day for the Sooners. But I don't really know how this game is going to go because we haven't seen Oklahoma tested against a quality opponent. They've had some struggles with SMU, and there's one more that's escaping me right now. But they've struggled with a couple of lesser opponents, anyways. Cincinnati was the other one. So but they've been able to kind of persevere through that. Against Texas, if you get behind, it's going to be tough to come back. So I'm excited to see what they're able to do. Oklahoma's been, putting up some havoc numbers. They've got 42 tackles for a loss. That's good for 6th in the country. They've also been really efficient on third down on both sides of the football. So how does that play out? And then lastly, the turnover margin for Oklahoma is at +8. That is good for, I believe it was 2nd or 3rd in the country. So they've been fortunate. And turnover, you can look at two ways. It's fortunate. It's a little bit of luck. and also they're being disruptive. So depending on how you want to look at that, you could say, hey, maybe they regress a little bit and maybe they go, -3 in the turnover margin this game against Texas. If they do that, I'm pretty certain that they're going to lose. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting game. It's tough to glean anything from these numbers from Oklahoma, though, just given who they
Yeah.
face so far.
Well, so here's kind of my outlook on this situation. So I heard an interesting story yesterday, and there's a AP voter out there that has held out all year and has voted week in and week out Texas into the number 9 spot in their rankings. And I wanted to do a little bit of digging on this and figure out, what's up with this train of thought here. And it actually makes a little bit of sense because when Texas played Wyoming earlier this year, this is a game that was 10-10 in the fourth quarter. Um, that was Wyoming's backup quarterback that was playing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fast forward to this past weekend, Texas playing Kansas. Guess what? Backup quarterback.
Yep.
Rewind again. Let's go back to one of the first, it was the second week of the year versus Alabama. It was Milroe.
Worst quarterback in 15 years.
Yeah. So, everybody in this situation wants to say,
let me stop you real quick, Mark, because I want to further that point. I actually screenshotted this tweet from someone, but Texas has now faced 3-time transfer JT Daniels at Rice, Bama's worst quarterback in 15 years, Wyoming's backup, Baylor's backup, and Kansas's backup.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's my point here. So everybody wants to look at this matchup and they want to say, well, Oklahoma, yeah, they ain't played nobody. And I get it. I'm not saying that they have. I'm not,
right.
I'm not justifying their schedule by any means. I mean, it's early in the year. A lot of teams have played cupcakes at this point. But as the names look a little tougher on Texas's schedule, but the time in which they faced all these teams, they were not at full capacity at all. And so, with all that being said, Oklahoma has got their own struggles. The rushing game is a problem. They have had a hard time finding an RB1. The running back is a glaring weakness of this offense. And I don't, I know they want Major to step up, and I don't know if that's going to happen. Now, Texas, I feel like Jonathan Brooks here the last couple of weeks has really stepped up at running back. He had about over 200 yards rushing last week against Kansas, just absolutely ran wild in that game. So with all this being said, I think these two teams are gonna come back to reality just a little bit. I think these are two good teams. I'm not saying I think either one of these teams is bad because I don't. I think they're both pretty good. Oklahoma has struggled to score points in correlation with the amount of yards they've had in each game. Their offense has been really, really dominant. I don't feel like Cincinnati, for example, whenever they played them, it was a ton of yards, but the points didn't reflect the amount of yards on the field. So I'm going to take the under in this game as one of my best bets of the week. I don't think either one of these teams is, Texas really hasn't started hot in any game. And I think Oklahoma's defense is improved here. 60.5 is a big number. I'm going to take the under, but as far as picking this game, I would pick Oklahoma in the points and play it that way. I don't think Texas blows them out in this game.
I agree with that, and I've actually got the under as well. So we're on the same page there. And yeah, I really think that
makes me feel good.
Yeah, I really think that taking Oklahoma in the points is probably the right side of this as well. I do think that
not a best bet. Not that matters, folks, because our best bets last couple of weeks hadn't been that great. But with all that being said, I mean, it's college football. That's how it goes. Good weeks and bad weeks. But it's not a best bet for me. But I would be on the side of Oklahoma in the points. I want the points in this rivalry.
Are you locking up the under 60.5 because that is a best
I
bet
am.
for me. Okay,
I
yeah.
am.
All right. So that is our best bet, 60.5 under for that game. Let me
Right.
ask you, Mark, is Oklahoma and Texas the best two teams in the SEC right now?
uh, yeah, I mean, it would be Oklahoma, Texas, and Georgia, I think,
Yeah.
for sure. And um, you know, I feel like everybody's kind of down on Georgia right this second, and I'm sure Kirby Smart is just absolutely eating that up, and they're just poor old pitiful Georgia over there, 5-0. About to play Kentucky this weekend on national television. So I don't know, man. It's these teams have geared up nicely for the destination that they're headed to next year. The Both of these teams have improved on the line of scrimmage so much over the last couple years. It's really remarkable, and it's nice to see because um, Oklahoma was kind of gave me that USC taste that I have now for years, and
Hmm.
it's both of these teams are so good on the line of scrimmage. I can't wait to see this one unfold and where this one's going to go over the next few years. I'm ready to see Georgia play Oklahoma. I'm ready to see Texas play Texas A&M. It's going to be a lot of fun when these two big powerhouse blue bloods come into the SEC next year. It's going to be a ton of fun. And ticket sales are going to be outrageous, outrageous.
Yep. Yep.
Let's
I cannot wait for Texas and Oklahoma to join, but more importantly for this game this weekend. It's going to be really good. I'm glad they're both 5-0 heading into this week.
Yeah, that's absolutely, absolutely, man. That's going to be a good one. Look, hey, if you're tuned into the show, we really appreciate you being here. We're talking some college football as we do 3 times a week, and what we want to do is get you to subscribe. And if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up on the video. That really helps a show like this out. We're really new, and we're just trying to get the word out. But we'd love to have you on the show. There's a link in the description. Anybody's more than welcome to join the show and talk some football with us. Enter if you dare. I will respond accordingly.